Hello, and welcome back to Storytime with Eric Zimmer. Where we last left off in the Giraffe and the Pelly and me, they went to work to clean the windows of the Duke of Hampshire's house, and found a burglar stealing extremely valuable diamonds on one of the floors. They managed to capture the burglar and called the police on him. In gratitude, the Duke of Hampshire allows the giraffe, the pelican, and the monkey to live on his estate for the rest of their lives, and to make their lives comfortable in gratitude. So now we're going to see what happens next. I'm starting to wonder what's in for Billy. We shall see in the last part of the story. You ready? Alright, let's begin. "Help yourself," said the Duke. "Eat all you want." "Oh, my sainted souls," gasped the giraffe. "Oh, my naked neck, I cannot believe what I am seeing." The next moment she was galloping full speed across the lawns and whinnying with excitement, and the last we saw of her she was burying her head in beautiful pink and purple flowers that blossomed on the tops of the trees all around her. "As for the monkey," the Duke went on, "I think he will also be pleased with what I have to offer. All over my estate there are thousands of giant nut trees." "Nuts?" cried the monkey. "What kind of nuts?" "Walnuts, of course," said the Duke. "Walnuts!" screamed the monkey. "Not walnuts! You don't mean walnuts! You're pulling my leg! You're joking! You can't be serious! I must have heard wrong!" "There's a walnut tree right over there," the Duke said, pointing. The monkey took off like an arrow, and a few seconds later he was high up in the branches of the walnut tree, cracking the nuts and guzzling what was inside. "That leaves only the Pelly," said the Duke. "Yes," said the pelican nervously, "but I'm afraid that what I eat does not grow on trees. I only eat fish. Would it be too much trouble, I wonder, if I were to ask you for a reasonably fresh piece of haddock or cod every day?" "Haddock or cod?" shouted the Duke, spitting out the words as though they made a bad taste in his mouth. "Cast your eyes, my dear Pelly, over there to the south." The pelican looked across the vast rolling estate, and in the distance he saw a great river. "A great river? That is the River Hamp," cried the Duke. "The finest salmon river in the whole of Europe." "Salmon!" screeched the pelican. "Not salmon! You don't really mean salmon!" "It's full of salmon," the Duke said, "and I own it. You can help yourself." Before he had finished speaking, the pelican was in the air. The Duke and I watched him as he flew full speed towards the river. We saw him circle over the water, then he dived and disappeared. A few moments later he was in the air again, and he had a gigantic salmon in his beak. I stood alone with the Duke on the lawn beside his great house. "Well, Billy," he said, "I'm glad they're all happy. But what about you, my lad? I'm wondering if you happen to have just one extra special little wish all for yourself. If you do, I'd love you to tell me about it." Then there was a sudden tingling in my toes. It felt as though something tremendous might be going to happen to me any moment. "Yes," I murmured nervously, "I do have one extra special little wish." "And what might that be?" said the Duke in a kindly voice. "There is an old wooden house near where I live," I said. "It's called the Grubber, and long ago it used to be a sweet shop. I have wished and wished that one day somebody might come along and make it into a marvelous new sweet shop all over again." "Somebody?" cried the Duke. "What do you mean, somebody?" "You and I will do that. We'll do it together. We'll make it into the most wonderful sweet shop in the world. And you, my boy, will own it." Whenever the Duke got excited, his enormous mustaches started to bristle and jump about. Right now they were jumping up and down so much it looked as though he had a squirrel on his face. "By God, sir," he cried, waving a stick, "I shall buy the place today. Then we'll get to work and have the whole thing ready in no time. You just wait and see what sort of a sweet shop you are going to make out of this Grubber place of yours." It was amazing how quickly things began to happen after that. There was no problem about buying the house because it was owned by the Giraffe and the Pelly and the monkey, and they insisted upon giving it to the Duke for nothing. Then builders and carpenters moved in and rebuilt the whole of the inside so that once again it had 3 floors. On all these floors they put together rows and rows of tall shelves, and there were ladders to climb up to the highest shelves and baskets to carry what you bought. Then the sweets and chocolates and toffees and fudges and nougats began pouring in to fill the shelves. They came by airplane from every country in the world, the most wild and wondrous things you could ever imagine. There were gum twizzlers and fizz winkles from China, froth blowers and spit sizzlers from Africa, tummy ticklers and gobwangles from the Fiji Islands, and lip lickers and plush nuggets from the land of the midnight sun. I wonder what that country is. For 2 whole weeks, the flood of boxes and sacks continued to arrive. I could no longer keep track of all the countries they came from, but you can bet your life that as I unpacked each new batch, I sampled it carefully. I can remember especially the giant wangdoodles from Australia, every one with a huge ripe red strawberry hidden inside its crispy chocolate crust. And the electric fizz cocklers that made every hair on your head stand straight up on end as soon as you popped one into your mouth. And there were niche nobblers and gum glotters and blue bubblers and sherbet slurpers and tongue rakers, as well as all this, there was a whole lot of splendid stuff from the great Wonka factory itself. For example, the famous Willy Wonka rainbow drops. Suck 'em and you can spit in 7 different colors. And his stick drawer for talkative parents, and his mint jubjubes that will give the boy next door green teeth for a month. Well, they did mention that in the original book. On the grand opening day, I decided to allow all my customers to help themselves for free. And the place was so crowded with children you could hardly move. The television cameras and the newspaper reporters were all there, and the old Duke himself stood outside in the road with my friends, the Giraffe and the PELLY and the monkey, watching the marvelous scene. I came out of the shop to join them for a few moments, and I brought each of them a bag of extra special sweets as a present. To the Duke, because the weather was a little chilly, I gave some scarlet scorch droppers that had been sent to me from Iceland. The label said they were guaranteed to make the person who sucked them as warm as toast, even if he were standing stark naked at the North Pole in midwinter. The moment the Duke popped one into his mouth, thick smoke came gushing out of the old boy's nostrils in such quantities that I thought his mustaches were going up in flames. "Terrific!" he cried, hopping about. "Tremendous stuff. I'll take a case of them home with me." To the Giraffe I gave a bag of glumptious glob gobblers. The glob gobbler is an especially delicious sweet that is made somewhere near Mecca, and the moment you bite into it, all the perfumed juices of Arabia go squirting down your gullet, one after the other. "It's wonderful!" cried the Giraffe as a cascade of lovely liquid flavors poured all the way down her long, long throat. "It's even better than my favorite pink and purple flowers." To the Pelican I gave a big bag of pishlets. Pishlets, as you probably know, are brought by children who are unable to whistle a tune as they walk along the street, but long to do so. They had a splendid effect upon the Pelican, for after he had put one of them into his beak and chewed it for a while, he suddenly started singing like a nightingale. This made him wildly excited, because pelicans are not songbirds. No pelican had ever been known to whistle a tune before. To the monkey I gave a bag of devil's drenchers, those small fiery black sweets that one is not allowed to sell to children under 4 years old. When you have sucked a devil's drencher for a minute or so, you can set your breath alight and blow a huge column of fire 20 feet into the air. The Duke put a match to the monkey's breath and shouted, "Blow, monkey, blow!" A sheet of orange flame shot up as high as the roof of the Grubber house, and it was wonderful. "I've got to leave you now," I said. "I must go and look after my customers in the shop." "We must go too," said the Giraffe. "We have 100 windows to clean before dark." I said goodbye to the Duke and then one by one I said goodbye to the 3 best friends I ever had. Suddenly we all became very quiet and melancholy, and the monkey looked as though he was about to cry as he sang me a little song of farewell. Well, they'll see each other again. They can always come and visit. But here's the song. We have tears in our eyes as we wave our goodbyes. We so loved being with you, we 3. So please do now and then come and see us again, the Giraffe and the Pelly and me. All you do is to look at a page in this book, because that's where we always will be. No book ever ends when it's full of your friends, the Giraffe and the Pelly and me. The end. I can't believe I never read this story before. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time on Storytime with Eric Zimmer. Take care.